Here is a question that will make every dog owner uncomfortable. If your dog ran into traffic right now, would they come back when you called? Not eventually. Not after the third or fourth shout. Right now. Immediately. Without hesitation. If you hesitated before answering that, this video is for you. Most dog owners believe their dog has a reliable recall. Most dog owners are wrong. Because a recall that works in your backyard on a quiet afternoon, with no distractions and a pocket full of treats, is not a recall. It is an illusion of control. A reliable recall means your dog returns to you immediately when called, every single time, in every single environment, under every level of distraction without you having to repeat yourself. That is the standard. Anything below that standard is not a trained behavior. It is a lucky habit, and lucky habits fail at the worst possible moments. In this video we are going to break down exactly how reliable recall is built, what destroys it, what the science actually says, and what most dog trainers will never tell you, because the truth is far less comfortable than the promise. Stay with me. By the end, you will understand your dog's behavior at a level most pet owners never reach. To your dog, you are competing, every single second, against smells, sounds, movement, other animals, and an entire universe of environmental stimulation that has been designed by millions of years of evolution to be irresistible. You standing there calling their name are one signal among thousands. This is not an insult. This is neuroscience. Dogs repeat behaviors that predict high-value outcomes. That is operant conditioning in its most basic form. If returning to you predicts something mediocre, a pat on the head, a piece of dry kibble, a good boy delivered without energy, your dog's brain will weigh that against the reward of chasing that pigeon, and the pigeon will win. Almost every time. This is why professional trainers are absolutely non-negotiable about high-value rewards during recall training. We are talking about real food, cooked chicken, cubes of cheese, small pieces of meat. Not treats from a bag. Not kibble. Real, biological, high-arousal food that lights up the reward centers of a dog's brain the same way a lottery win lights up yours. The principle is simple. The level of distraction must be matched by the level of reinforcement. Training at a park full of dogs? Your reward needs to be more compelling than every dog in that park. Training near wildlife? Your chicken pieces need to beat the smell of whatever is hiding in those bushes. This is not spoiling your dog. This is competing with the environment and winning. This is the part of recall training that most people have never heard of, and it explains why so many dogs simply stop responding to their name over time. It is called a poison cue, and it is far more common than you think. Here is how it happens. You teach your dog to come when called. It works beautifully at first. Then over weeks and months you start calling them for things they do not enjoy. You call them to end a play session. You call them for their bath. You call them right before nail trimming. You call them, and then, accidentally, you raise your voice in frustration at something unrelated. Each time your dog's brain makes a quiet association. That sound, their name or the word come, predicts something unpleasant. The association does not happen all at once. It does not announce itself. It seeps in, quietly, call by call, until one day you are standing in a field calling your dog and they are looking at you with their ears flat. Not because they are being disobedient, but because their brain has learned that responding to that word leads somewhere they do not want to go. That is a poison cue. And once it is poisoned, rebuilding it on the same word is extraordinarily difficult. Many trainers recommend starting over entirely, introducing a completely new recall word, building new associations from scratch, with zero contamination from the old cue. The lesson here is one of the most important in all of dog training. Never use recall for anything your dog considers negative. Call them only for rewards. If you need them for a bath, go and get them manually. Protect your recall cue like it is the most valuable word in your vocabulary, because in an emergency, it is. Here is a question trainers hear constantly: when can I let my dog off the leash? The answer is when they have earned it. And the tool that bridges the gap between on-leash and off-leash is one that almost no casual dog owner uses, and every professional one does. The long line. A long line is exactly what it sounds like. A lightweight leash between 9 and 15 meters in length. It attaches to a harness, never to a collar, and it gives your dog the physical experience of freedom while keeping you in control of the outcome. That harness attachment is not a minor detail. When a dog hits the end of a long line at full speed, the force is significant. A collar in that moment can cause serious injury, damage to the neck, the trachea, or the cervical spine. A well-fitted harness distributes that force across the chest and shoulders. It is not just a training preference, it is a safety requirement. The long line serves two critical functions. First, it prevents your dog from rehearsing bad behavior. Every time a dog successfully ignores a recall and runs away, that behavior is reinforced. The dog learns that running away works. A long line removes that option. Your dog cannot successfully flee, which means they cannot practice fleeing. Second, it allows you to practice recall at realistic distances, in realistic environments, with realistic distractions, while maintaining the safety net that keeps both your dog and your training intact. Use the long line for weeks. Use it in fields, parks, trails, streets. Use it until recall is not just good, until it is automatic, reflexive, and immediate under genuine pressure. Only then do you shorten the leash. Only then do you remove it. Freedom is not given. It is built, one successful recall at a time. One of the most frustrating misconceptions in dog training is the belief that all dogs can be trained to the same standard, on the same timeline, using the same methods. They cannot, and pretending otherwise sets owners up for failure and dogs up for punishment they do not deserve. Breed matters deeply. Sighthounds, greyhounds, whippets, Italian greyhounds, are built around one thing: visual prey drive. When they see something move, an ancient, pre-rational part of their brain activates. It does not ask permission. It does not weigh your recall command. It fires, and the dog fires with it. Training a sighthound to reliable off-leash recall requires not just patience but a fundamental understanding that you are working against millions of years of selective breeding. It can be done. But it requires a different approach, different tools, and honest expectations. Scent hounds, beagles, bloodhounds, basset hounds have a different problem. They are not chasing what they see. They are following what they smell. A beagle on a scent trail enters a state that trainers describe as environmentally locked. Their nose is processing information so rich, so layered, so chemically complex. A bloodhound carries up to 300 million scent receptors compared to a human's 5 million, that your voice barely registers. Again, this is not disobedience. This is neurological design. And then there is the Siberian Husky, widely regarded among professional trainers as the most challenging breed for reliable recall. Huskies were bred to run. Not to run and come back. To run, for hours, across Arctic terrain, independently, without direction from a human. The roaming instinct in a husky is not a training problem. It is a genetic fact. Reliable off-leash recall in huskies is achievable, but it requires more time, more consistency, higher rewards, and lower expectations of speed than almost any other breed. Knowing your breed is not making excuses. It is training intelligently. Every instinct in your body will tell you to chase your dog when they run. Do not. Chasing a dog activates two of their most powerful drives simultaneously: play drive and prey drive. To your dog, you running after them is either a game or a chase, and either way they should keep going. Chasing teaches your dog that running away from you leads to an exciting interaction. You have just accidentally rewarded the exact behavior you are trying to eliminate. Instead, do the opposite. Turn around. Run away from your dog. Make yourself exciting. Wave your arms, make unusual sounds, change direction unpredictably. What you are doing is triggering your dog's chase instinct in reverse. Most dogs, when they see their owner running away, will chase. The owner becomes the moving object. The owner becomes the interesting thing. It feels ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. But it works, and the behavioral science behind it is solid. Movement triggers pursuit. You just have to make sure you are the one being pursued. Practice this before you need it. Make running away from your dog a game during training sessions. Build their habit of chasing you when you move, so that on the day they are actually off and running, your response is not panic. It is a trained behavioral trigger that brings them back. They ran. They ignored you. They disappeared into the bushes for 10 long, terrifying minutes. And then, finally, they trotted back, tail wagging, completely unbothered. And every instinct in your body will want to punish them for it. Do not. This is the moment that defines your entire recall training, and getting it wrong sets you back months. When you punish a dog for returning late, your dog does not understand the timeline. Dogs associate consequences with immediate actions, not with events that happened minutes ago. What your dog experiences is, I came back to my owner and something unpleasant happened. Their brain does not connect the punishment to the running away. It connects the punishment to the act of returning. You have just taught your dog that coming back to you leads to a bad outcome. The next time they have the choice, they will remember that. They will hesitate. They will stay away longer. Ironically, punishing a late recall makes future recalls slower, not faster. The rule is absolute. Always reward the return, no matter how long it took, no matter how frustrated you are, no matter what. Get down to their level. Use your highest value treat. Make coming back to you the single best thing that happened in their entire day. Your feelings about the situation are valid. Express them to a human. Your dog gets only the reward. Dogs do not generalize the way humans do. When you learn to ride a bike, you can ride it on any road. When a dog learns a behavior in one location, that behavior is neurologically deeply tied to that location. The cues, the smells, the visual landscape, the sound environment, all of it becomes part of what triggers the learned response. This means a dog with a perfect recall in your backyard has, in a very real sense, only learned to recall in your backyard. Move that dog to a park, a forest, a city street, or a beach, and they are encountering a new environment with new variables, and the recall behavior may not transfer at all. This is called the generalization problem, and it is why trainers talk about practicing recall in at least 30 different environments before considering it reliable. 30 environments sounds like a lot. It is. This is why trainers say reliable recall takes 3 to 6 months minimum, and for high-drive breeds it can take years. It is not lack of intelligence or lack of love for the owner. It is simply how canine cognition works. The behavior has to be built in each new context, gradually, with rewards, until it becomes strong enough to override environmental novelty and distraction. Train at home. Train at the park. Train near other dogs. Train near traffic. Train in the forest. Train on busy streets. Build the recall in every world your dog might encounter, so that when the emergency comes, the behavior is there regardless of where you are standing. Everything in this video, the rewards, the long line, the 30 environments, the discipline of never punishing a return, all of it is building towards something deeper than a reliable recall command. It is building a dog that wants to stay connected to you. Professional trainers call this check-in behavior, the voluntary habit a dog develops of glancing back at their owner, monitoring their position, choosing to orbit rather than roam. It is not commanded. It is not trained with a cue. It emerges naturally from a dog that has learned, through hundreds and thousands of rewarded interactions, that staying near their person is the most consistently rewarding thing they can do. When you have this, when your dog pauses on a trail, looks back at you without being called, waits for you to catch up, or chooses to return without any signal, you have something more valuable than a trained recall. You have a dog whose default orientation is toward you. This is the goal. Not obedience. Orientation. A dog who considers you the most interesting and rewarding thing in their environment, not because they have no choice but because experience has taught them it is true. Let's end with honesty. Reliable recall, true, consistent, distraction-proof, emergency-grade recall, takes 3 to 6 months of structured, daily training at minimum. For high-drive breeds like Huskies, Malinois, or working-line retrievers, it often takes longer. Sometimes years. This is not a failure. This is the actual science of habit formation, applied to a species whose behavioral drives were shaped over tens of thousands of years of selective breeding for purposes that had nothing to do with coming when called. Anyone who promises you off-leash reliability in 2 weeks is selling a fantasy. Anyone who tells you it only requires 10 minutes a day and a YouTube playlist is making you feel good at the expense of your dog's safety. The truth is harder and more rewarding than that. It requires consistency, patience, environmental work, high-value reinforcement, and an honest understanding of your specific dog's breed, history, and temperament. But on the other side of that work is something most dog owners never experience. A dog you can trust completely. A dog you can call in any environment and know, not hope, not pray, know that they will come. That is worth every month of training. That is worth every piece of chicken. That is worth every frustrating session and every step forward and back.